It's Josh, your Goth fragrance bestie, and things have been weird, to put it mildly. And as I say to myself every morning, the horrors persist, but so do I. January has been a flurry of activity and travel, and I smelled much less than compared to last year. But I came in at around 90 fragrances smelled for the first time, and about 20 fragrances worn. And while that volume is lower, I've really been trying to sit with fragrances longer and give them more than just like initial impressions, giving them full days to wear. That being said, I do have a top 10 for the month. So let's get started. Coming in at number 10, we have Matsu Musk by Agar Olfactory. And this is a perfume based around notes of mushroom and musk, with kind of the theme of the brand being the ecocide of the globe. And that is such a perfect match to kind of the perfumes that I would gravitate towards. I was very excited for this. And it's interesting, it's conceptual, it's lovely. My one complaint is that it's quite fleeting. I tried pairing it with like some longer lasting musks, and it does make them more interesting for a time, but it just doesn't last very long, if that's a major issue for you. It is a solid offering from a really cool brand. I like the entire Discovery set. It was very, very cool. Coming in at number 9, we have Dispelled by D. Gray. I'm a huge fan of everything James does with D. Gray. Truly one of a kind in terms of concepts and packaging. The trading cards that come with the perfume are just super cool. Dispelled is a protection spell in a perfume. It's cozy and it's relaxing. It really just kind of enrobes you in this velvety vanilla and herb blanket that's punctuated with lavender. I find it to be a great bedtime scent. It wears quite close to the skin, and I'm not familiar with several of the notes that were used. Like, I know what St. John's wort is, but I don't know what it's supposed to smell like, or magnolia bark. But the entire composition was really, really lovely, and I enjoyed wearing it a lot. Coming in at number 8 is Gasso Leather by Lorenzo Pizzaglia. If you ever wanted to smell like a hot sports car after being driven very hard, this is the perfume for you. I am really intrigued whenever I see gasoline notes in perfumery, and this opens with hot metal, gasoline, and like warm plastic. It really reminds me of like walking around a sports car in the summer. The middle and base are filled with like really plush leathers and suedes, and it does remind me of like a very plush car interior. That being said, it doesn't present itself overtly masculine either. It carries a power and a confidence and a sexiness that I really enjoyed. Coming in at number 7 is Hlyn by Arcana Wildcraft. I was curious about this because it's listed as a savory gourmand, which I'm in my gourmand era, that smells of biscuits and butter. I have found a love of sweeter fragrances, but never actually found a true gourmand that I would want to wear. This is a lovely, cozy fragrance that wears very easy. It does smell of baked goods. And the most striking thing about this perfume is the butter CO2 that's in it. It's very realistic. It has very potent butter. And it was initially quite overwhelming to me in the opening, but it takes a few minutes and it settles down. Notably, my roommate said I smelled like a carnival when I wore this, which I found very confusing. But when I came back to my room after being in my office all day, there was that lingering buttery air scent, kind of reminiscent of like food carts at a festival. And I thought that was perhaps where that carnival vibe was coming from. It is unusual, it's affordable, and it's quite interesting. So if you are a gourmand lover, I recommend checking that one out. Coming in at number 6, we have Cafe Affogato by Jacette. I recently started looking for a coffee perfume that I actually wanted to wear. And this is not that, for me, at least. It is another photorealistic gourmand that is worth checking out for the gourmand girlies. This is sweet, creamy coffee with vanilla ice cream and chocolate syrup. Nothing more, nothing less. I find it lovely, I find it striking, but personally it is far too sweet for me. Coming in at number 5, we have the Musk Oil by Bruno Acampora. This is extraordinarily expensive. I have to admit, the eye-watering price tag kept me from putting this further up on my list. It is beautiful, it is sensual, it is amazing. It's a clean skin musk with a shocking longevity. It is easy to wear, it is confident and sexy, but it is just so hard for me to recommend people look for a Your Skin But Better scent that's like $200+ for 10 mils. Nevertheless, a supreme musk. Number 4 is Romance Noir by Silhouette Parfum. If there is one thing I have gleaned from exploring the newest collection by Silhouette, it is that they excel in imagery. So, in their own words, in this twilight of existence, as shadows lengthen and the certainty of night approaches, we cling to the elusive dream of undying affection. This yearning, a fragile spark of optimism becoming all the more exquisite in its impossibility. The anticipation for eternal love lingers despite the passage of time and waning darkness. The remnants of wine stains, withered roses, and the scent of aged leather evoke a sense of longing and exclusivity. I have nothing else to add to that. Coming in at number 3 is a very new edition, the Fairy Tales Discovery Set by Mischief Academy. This technically is a discovery set and not a single perfume, but I make the rules for my channel. I have never heard of this brand before. A friend of mine, Chris, hi Chris, sent them over, and I was really enamored with like the playful, childlike artwork and this like concept of each perfume being a classic fairy tale. Having sniffed through them and worn several of them, I am really, really pleased with these offerings. They're kind of a reprieve to my typical fragrance family. The one that really stood out to me from Winnie the Pooh. It is a beautiful, realistic honey that beds down in a really velvety, realistic lavender, sage, and tonka. If you need a cheerful distraction, this is picking up. The brand is at least associated with Denom. So, at number 2, we have Sybarite by Clune Keen. I went to Dublin for work and managed to stop by a few shops thanks to Professor Perfume's recommendations. You can check her out here if you aren't familiar. Clune Keen is an Irish brand that has some really lovely offerings. I really liked their candles. Sybarite is this spicy, aromatic patchouli, and the mercury glass bottles just feel so much higher end than the price point that they came in. The longevity was stellar. It was a confident, easy wearing patchouli. I know sometimes patchouli can be a bit too aggressive. It's not super pungent. It is edgy, but put together enough that I was comfortable wearing it to my work meetings in Ireland. So, thoroughly enjoyed it. Love the bottles, love their candles. Really impressed with the brand. Some other shout outs before I get to the number 1. Things that I smelled but didn't make the list that I still think are good. The Lindsay April Discovery Set tattoo appointment was super cool. The Fischer-Sund Faux Flora set made me cry. It is phenomenal as always. Sugar by D. Gray has been really fun to try to layer things with. And Dust by Perfumer H. It was this sweet, powdery iris that was really reminiscent of those like violet candies. Coming in at number 1, Beaver Maple by Zoologist. I had the immense pleasure of going to Toronto for work in January. Not something many people are happy about. But I decided on a whim to message Victor of Zoologist to sit down for Goth Fragrance Dialogues, and he said yes. That episode will be out in February, so keep an eye out. While chatting with him, he let me smell a variety of fragrances, both old Zoologist, new Zoologist, and some upcoming releases. To my surprise, he sent me home with a bottle of the newest release, Beaver Maple. All of my other Zoologist bottles as a current favorite. It has the same soapy, clean upper and like strangely animalic base as the original Beaver, but with these interesting and masterfully blended facets of maple that really sweeten and balance the entire composition without taking away from that initial Beaver DNA. I think it's a marked improvement on the original version. I wore this more than anything else the entire month, was blown away by it, and I just love it so much. So a huge thank you to Victor for sitting down with me. I'm so excited for you all to see this interview. And thank you to all of the brands that I've mentioned in this video. I really hope to figure out what this channel is going to look like outside of Goth Fragrance Dialogues, though that is my key for this channel. If you have any ideas of what kind of content you'd like to see outside of monthly top 10s and interviews, let me know, comment them below. Tell me what your go-to fragrance this month was, and if you enjoyed this, of course, like and subscribe. It is a big, smelly world out there, so happy smelling. Bye.